January 1951. 10 cents. Harvey Comics looked at what EC Comics was doing with Tales from the Crypt and said, "We can do that." They were not wrong. Witch Tales Issue 1, the first of what would become one of better horror anthology comics of the early 50s, right up until 1954 when the Comics Code Authority arrived and took most of the horror with it. But that hasn't happened yet. This is Issue 1, brand new, just off the stands. Let's open it up. Witch's Tales, Harvey Comic, January 1951, 10 cents. Look at this cover. A top-hatted villain with a crowbar prying open a grave, while a tied-up redhead watches from the left and something crawls out of the dirt. The witch herself is up on the corner watching the whole thing like she's running the show. This is the first issue. Harvey Comics decided, we're going to do horror. And they went in. We dare you to read these eerie tales of supernatural horror. That's the tagline. Consider yourself dared. Before we get started, the witch herself has a few words. The witch's warning. Come closer, friends. Don't be afraid. There's nothing here to harm you. Does that skeleton on the wall bother you? You shouldn't. The dead can't walk. Or can they? I know of a man who had no blood in his... Wait, who swings the rusty hinges of my door? You need not look so cornered. Light the candlestick in that coal. The skull, we do need more light, don't we? Ah, you see my cauldron. Its sides have been have bruised that would have eaten into the steel as burning pokers into flesh. See that white powder that lines the rim? It's the powder pounded from human bones. You say there are red streaks down the sides of this kettle? Ha ha ha! It is over this bubbling pot that I weave my tales of weird fact. Ah, fact. For all of my stories come from what has been and what will be. These stories can happen, or may have happened to you. I will freeze your spine with tales of witchcraft, ghouls, and man-made monsters. I will make your scalp crawl as the dead dig their claws into the screaming, terrified living. Where are you going? But enough of this. It's time to start the fire under the cauldron and weave my stories. Stop shaking so much. You won't be able to turn the first page of Witch's Tales. Now, here's what I love about this. Harvey Comics is setting up their host character right out of the gate. EC Comics had the Crypt Keeper, Witch's Tales had the Witch, and she's already better than most because she's doing this over a bubbling cauldron with what she describes as powder pounded from human bones lining the rim. And on the right, your table of contents. Monster of Mad Mountain, Voodoo Vengeance, Launched in Blood, The Dead Won't Die. 4 stories, January 1951. Let's get into it. First up, the Monster of Mad Mountain. And we open big. Full page splash. This glowing yellow monster, arms raised, screaming, towering over a crowd of terrified villagers. The caption reads, "Not many people who remember that time of horror like to tell about it. But on rainy nights, when the wind howls weirdly in the deep valleys of Kentucky, and the fog flits like a ghost through the trees, they still talk in whispers about the Monster of Mad Mountain." Kentucky, 1951. Scientists doing experiments with electricity on a mountaintop. This is basically Frankenstein with different wallpaper, and I mean that as a compliment. So we have Dr. Rao, the good scientist, and Mojuk, the bad one. And right away in the first panel, Mojuk is telling Rao they've found the secrets to eternal life and can't wait to report it to the International Meeting of Scientists in England. Rao says, and this is important, "Now remember, Mojuk, no wild experiments. This can be a power for good." Mojak's face in the panel is doing everything. He is absolutely going to do wild experiment. What was happening in the laboratory on the mountain's peak? Why did the flickering lights burn later than the stars? What happened that night when... "We found the secret to eternal life, Mojuk. Our experiments will astound the world when I report them to the International Meeting of Scientists in England. Maybe now the people will understand and stop calling this Mad Mountain. Yes, Doctor, soon they will know the secrets we have found in electricity, and I'm going to see they stay secret. Now remember, Mojuk, no wild experiments. This could be a power for good. Better get going. Let me help you, Doctor." "Thanks, Mojuk. You fool! Did you think I was going to let this secret out of my hands? You're dying, Raul. Do you hear? Dying. If you knew what my plans are, but I'm afraid you haven't time to listen. Mojuk, you're mad raving. Mad! You mustn't use the results. Dead. You're as dead as your hopes, Doctor. I'm afraid you are going to be late, Doctor, for that little trip. In fact, you're the late Dr. Rowell now. Ha 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 ha. I'll be the greatest scientist the world has ever known. I can create an army of supermen. With my knowledge of electricity, I'll shake the world. I'll shock it to death if I have to. The maniacal mind of the doctor was now set free to put its wild hopes and dreams into action. The dreams that had been seething in it for years. Dreams that were nightmares of terror. Now, if I can only find the right man for my first subject, someone big and powerful that would be able to withstand great shocks. Hey, what's that? You, over there, you crazy galoot, you want to get killed? Get out of there, that bull's a killer. No, I mustn't die. It can't end like this. Save me, someone. Aye! He'll kill me. Well, I'll help you. Pow! You saved my life. I thought I was finished. I've seen Lenny do some powerful things, but that beats all. Sure, Lenny's the strongest man in these here hills, mister. Oh, that weren't nothing. I just hit him a little. Could have knocked his head clear off. Here, Jigger. Strong as you, Say, that is a powerful arm you have there. How would you like to work for me? I'll double your pay. Oh gosh, I don't know, but maybe I would if you'd take my dog Jigger with me. He's my pal. It won't be hard work. You'll just help me move some machinery. This is perfect. He's big and stupid. Now I got the brawn to match my mighty brain. I can move anything that ain't nailed down, just as long as there's enough to eat for my dog. I'll be as sow's ear. Mojuk bided his time like a waiting rattlesnake to catch Lenny off guard and strike. Then one day, that's it, just pick up those 2 electrodes and bring them to me. Sure, Miss Doctor. Oh, I am sorry, Lenny. I didn't know those electrodes were alive. Are you alright now? Sure, I'm okay, just a little dizzy, and I feel funny inside. Electricity, the power and secret of life. Blow, you winds, crack the earth, you storms with flaming bolts of electric fire. I have found the man who's going to give me power. Power! Power! That does I gave Lenny yesterday was enough to kill a horse, but he just shook it off. I'll make him invincible, and he'll be my slave. By drugging his food every night, Mojuk was able to use Lenny for his experiments, and strange and horrible things began to happen. He's absorbing enough electricity now to kill 100 men. A few more big doses and I'll be ready to release them on the world. And this is only the beginning. Here, slave, put this suit on. Hurry, you mustn't touch me. Right now you're a walking electric chair. Yes, Doctor. Ah, so the final effects are setting in. Just as I calculated, you no longer can stand the sight of food. That's because you don't need any. The electricity in your body is all the food you'll ever need. Ah! What have you done to me? I feel so queer. This suit, where am I? I'll kill you. He still has the power to think for himself, but a few more treatments and I'll destroy that. Put that down. Slave, obey me. Now go inside and wait until I see who is bothering us. Tonight, I'm going to give you the final treatment. I go as you command. I'm very sorry you won't be able to see Lenny tonight. You see, he wasn't feeling well, and holy cow, Joe, do you see what I see? Let's get out of here. While the doctor laughs insanely at the 2 men who tear down the mountainside, he prepares for the final experiments. On my head it's buzzing. Something must be the matter with me. I can't remember. Jigger, I'm glad to see you. Where you been, huh, boy? Come here, Jigger. What's the matter with you? Don't you know your old pal? What has that Mojuk done to me? I gotta find him. Oh, my head. I can't think. Huh? What's the matter with you? Stand back. Stand back. Obey me. No, back, you mad brute. You mustn't touch me. Back, you hear? You have made a monster out of me. Now you're going to pay. Mojuk had dared too far. The very power he sought destroyed him. But the experiments were taking effect on Lenny. Oh, Lenny, the huge man's brain, ached in his head until finally it seemed to crack like a tree split with lightning. My head! With the strength of the dynamo and this insane monster grasping iron bars, and they bend in his hands like straws. A gruesome terror is being released upon the world. Crack! Meanwhile, in the village, I tell you, I saw this thing with my own eyes. Ask Joe Jukes if that ain't the gospel truth. I tell you, there ain't a man, woman, or child safe in these here parts now. We gotta go up there and find out what these Mojuk feller is doing. He's right, I saw it too, and it was horrible. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get our rifles, men. Look, there it is. What's he got in his hands? Electric lights? Don't let it come any nearer. Worth noting here, this is the Frankenstein story told from the assistant's perspective. Mojuk is Frankenstein, Lenny is the monster, but unlike the original, the creator doesn't survive his creation, which is very 1951 way of saying crime doesn't pay, even when the crime is mad science. Do you think you hit him, Tom? Huh, I don't know so. Too dark to get a good shot. Should we go after him? Not me. You can't see a thing in there. Through the long, dreary night, the men tried to pick up the trail of the monster, but to no avail. Then at dawn, ooh-wee, I'm as tired as the hound dog's been chasing a fox. Me too. Look, up there. That's him. Let's get him. Look out. Run for your lives. Let me out of here. He'll kill us. There's no longer anything about Lenny which resembled his former human shape. He was now a creature of destruction. His mind a seething mass telling him to kill, kill, kill. My glory, it's the monster. Roar! Roar! Help! Help! Look, there he is, next to that burning wagon. After him. We'll get him now. Bring him down. Don't let him get away again. Now! Look, we got him now. He's trapped himself. Hold your fire. Those wires look red hot. He looks like he's losing his strength. And as the electrical force draws from the monster, a miraculous change takes place. Jigger, my old pal. Where you been, Jigger? I've missed you. You good old... The gathered farmers look on in amazement as they see Lenny's face again. The twisted features of the monster of Mad Mountain are gone. The monster of Mad Mountain is dead. Ooh! I'd never believed it if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. Now here's something you don't see much anymore in modern comics. A full prose text story. No panels. Just words and one illustration. Harvey put these in partly because the postal regulations at the time required a certain amount of text content for magazines to qualify for cheaper mailing rates. So, War Island exists partly because of the 1940s postal law. But it's a good story. Let's read it. Rex Burton inherits his uncle's estate, which includes a piece of paper, a piece of glass, and an island known as the Isle of Death. Uncle's will promises eternal life. The lawyer thinks Rex is crazy. Rex does not care. He looked at the will that the lawyer handed him. In a broken but large handwriting, the will read, I leave all my worldly possessions to my nephew, Rex Burton. These include a piece of paper, a piece of glass, and the island of Drago, known more commonly as the Isle of Death. And be buried on my island. It is there that I will live forever. Death instantly followed the writing of the will, for the signature trailed off into a meaningless scribble. Rex looked up at the lawyer, who was nervously zipping his case together. What do you make of it? I have no opinion, Rex. I'm only supposed to see that you get what your uncle willed you. Look, Bill, you were the closest to my uncle. You took care of all his affairs. I want you to tell me what he meant in this will. I know he was eccentric, but what is all this business about the Isle of Death and living on forever? The lawyer said that Rex was determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, so he sat down, wiped his forehead, and in a weak voice began to relate all that he knew. As you said, Rex, your uncle was eccentric. When he moved to his island, he brought with him a tremendous library on magic and superstitions. After some time, the natives of the island began to leave. As they put it, the spirit of death walked the paths of life. They said that because at times they would find the bodies of their friends or of animals in the forest, and there would not be a mark on the corpses. Every time a body would be found, a long, spine-chilling scream would come from the foreigners. Finally, the natives blamed everything on your uncle and gave the island the name Isle of Death. Soon, all life left the island. Even the animals disappeared. Suddenly, one day I got a call from your uncle. When I arrived, he told me he was going to die and wanted to draw up a will. Then, he told me something that made my blood freeze. He said that when you read a certain piece of paper, you will be able to bring him back to eternal life. By now, the lawyer had been so weakened by the thoughts of horror racing through his mind that he sank back in the chair and closed his eyes. Rex, always eager to get involved in some unusual adventure, took the piece of paper and said to the lawyer, "In other words, Bill, if I can make sense out of this paper, I can bring my uncle back to eternal life." Rex Burton's eyes gleamed in their sockets, and the lawyer thought he was looking at a madman. "You can't take this seriously, Rex," blurted out Bill. Rex had been studying the piece of paper, and after a few minutes of dead silence, he answered the lawyer's question with, "I have it, Bill. I can bring my uncle back from the dead." With those words, he wheeled around and ran out of the room. He's as mad as his uncle was. Good heavens. He's probably going to the island now, but he can't. That whole area is being lashed by electrical storms. Bill stared at the wall. Could this actually be happening? A few hours later, Rex was staring at a wall. In this wall lay the body of his uncle in a coffin of stone. Rex glanced at the paper and, in the eerie light of the lone candle, raised up his arms and shouted, "I am here, Uncle! Eternity shall be yours!" The paper had told Rex that if he had held the glass in such a way as to let the rays of a lightning bolt come through and shine upon the stone coffin, his uncle would come back to life. The lightning flashes were coming more often now. Rex decided it was time. He pulled the coffin away from the wall and then held up the glass so that the next bolt would send its light streaming through it. A flash of lightning came through and seemed to explode in the room with a blinding light. The glass caught some of this light and cast a beam on the coffin. At first, nothing happened. Then the top of the coffin began to slide away. Something was moving the lid. Rex stood rooted to the ground. The lightning and thunder combined to drown out the scream of the man as he saw something rise from the coffin. Then there was a gigantic roar, and the building in which the tomb lay crumbled and crashed down the slope on which it was built. It buried the fear-shattered man and the coffin of the old Burton under the tons of stone. The constant beating by the storms had worn away its foundation and had sent it smashing down into the forest. And in between the booming of the thunder and the flashing of the lightning, the forest echoed and re-echoed with the shrill cry of some unknown being. An island that kills everything on it. A coffin of stone, the glass that focuses light, something rising from the lid. And then the building collapses on everyone and the story ends with something screaming in the forest. Harvey didn't feel the need to explain it further. Neither do I. Voodoo Vengeance. Now we're cooking. Old sea captain Joshua Flint, young wife Sylvia, her secret lover Romero the painter. This is a classic setup, but Harvey puts a very specific spin on it. Joshua doesn't just get angry. Joshua goes to Haiti, in his memory, 50 years back, to learn something. Behind the deep, cavernous eyes of Joshua Flint smoldered the secret fires of revenge. Joshua was an old retired sea captain, wise in the ways of the mysteries of the past. Little did his frivolous young wife realize that soon she would be the target for his voodoo vengeance. "Are you sure, Sylvia, that old man's asleep? Aren't we taking dangerous chances? That old bag of bones, once he's asleep, he's like a dead man. Nothing can wake him. Now kiss me good night again, Tony." "Sleep like a dead man, eh? Well, I've heard that sometimes dead men can haunt the living." In the flickering flames of the candles, the shadows flit across the old man's face like the hands of a ghost. He was a man who hated modern things like electric lights, and he kept the old villa on the Italian shore the way it was for centuries. "That old skinflint is too cheap to put lights in his tomb. I never thought he would last this long, Tony, when I married him, but those years at sea made him as tough as old leather. But someday that bad heart will get him, and then everything will be mine. All mine. Darling." So that's the game. I suspected it. The iron doors of the villa slam shut as Tony leaves, echoing in the long corridors like muffled thunder. But as Sylvia turns to go to her room, "You've betrayed me for the last time, you vixen. I may be old, but I'll show you my hands still have strength enough to squeeze the life out of you." "Joshua, wait, listen, Bill, you know, I only love you." "You lie, woman. You lie in the face of death. I heard everything." Joshua." Slowly, the noose of Joshua's hands tighten. Death rattles in her tortured throat as the sight of Joshua's face begins to fade into eternal darkness when, "Oh, air, I can breathe again. In my heart, the pain. Roberto, help me. Roberto, where are you?" "What's the matter, Captain? I heard you call for me. Captain, speak to me." "You better take him to his room, Roberto. He's had a heart attack." There are some pills near his bed. I'll give them to him while you go for a doctor. No, no, Roberto. Just put him on the bed. You run for the doctor and I'll take care of him. But for the next half hour, Sylvia watches with grim fascination the death-like face of her husband. Wild hope surges through her brain, but finally he stirs. Sylvia, give me the pills. I must have them. I'll forgive you everything. Ah, here they are, Joshua. Why don't you come and get them? For a man who has been around the world many times, it's such a little trip. It's my turn, Joshua. Die! Why don't you die? Miss Flint, are you in there? It's the doctor. Knock, knock, knock. Slowly, the hours drag through the night on heavy feet, while Sylvia paces the hallway like a caged tigress, ready to spring at first news. Shh! It was a narrow squeak, Miss Flint. He had another relapse just as I came in, but he's going to be all right. He just needs rest now. Why don't you go to bed? You look terribly worried, and there's no need. If you say so, Doctor. Good night, and you follow my advice. He's going to live. Oh, what will he do to me now? For the next few days, the villa was as silent as the inside of a buried casket as Flint slowly regained his strength. Then one bleak afternoon, get out of here, I say. Can't you let a man alone so he can think? I don't need any more of that blasted medicine. Avast! But, Captain! Yes, there are so many doors by which death may glide in. So many. But which one shall I use on my beloved Sylvia? Which one will I make her feel the most pain? She must suffer as I have. Let me think. I remember when I was in Haiti 50 years ago. In the lonely room, the mind of the captain skims back half a century and halfway around the world. For the gold you have brought me, I will show you one of our secrets. This is the image of an enemy of mine, but I will destroy him. You see, the doll is made from his hair, his clothes, and I have made it look like my enemy. Now watch and listen. And while Flint watched with burning eyes, the drums beat in the hot, mysterious jungle night like the heart of a giant. The beating drums slowly died away into the night, and for a few moments there was an absolute silence in the little village. Then suddenly there was a scream, like the sound of a dying monster, frightening enough to crack the heart of a brave man. Look, see how he suffers? Soon he will die. Aye, my brain has a dagger in it, a hot dagger. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it. And I know the secret. And if it worked 50 years ago, it can work again. I know just the things I'll need. Nail clippings, wisp of hair, eyelashes. Yes, have a good time, my dear, while you can. While you can. Young man, I understand you're an artist who needs work. How would you like to make $500 to paint a picture for me, eh? Sir, you've come to the right place. For $500, I'd paint you a picture of the devil himself. Enter. Remember what I tell you carefully. You must mix the ingredients of these envelopes into your pigments. If you don't do it, I won't give you a penny. Understand? Here is her picture. Never heard of anything like this before, but you're the boss. I'll do it just as you say. It'll be ready in a week. Meanwhile, Sylvia has been trying to forget her fears in a mad, perpetual round of parties, ignorant of the fact that she's having her portrait painted. With each stroke of the brush, doom closes in. That old guy certainly is a queer one. This girl, whoever she is really beautiful. Gosh, I hate to give this picture up. It's really the best one I've ever done. It deserves to be exhibited. What took you so long? You said a week. It's been almost 2. No matter, as long as it's done. You're sure you did it just as I ordered, Romero? Oh, sure, that's right. I'm sorry it took me longer than I expected. Well, here it is, finished. With fingers like writhing snakes, Flint hurriedly rips away the wrapping. The poison of revenge seeps into his blood and brain. His heart pounds like a trip hammer. Now you'll suffer, Sylvia. I'll twist and twist and twist the stagger into your heart. Just a little at a time, and I'll hear you scream with pain. It'll be music to me. Now, oh, my heart, it comes again. I'm too excited. Oh! But the very pain he would inflict jabs more forcefully at the tired, overstrained heart of the old sea captain. And with a last desperate lunge, I am dying, Sylvia, but you are going to die too! Several days later, and after I heard that your husband died, I felt that I should see you. Painting your picture for 2 weeks aroused my curiosity. I wanted to know you, but wasn't that a strange way to ask to have a picture painted? He sure was a strange character. Yes, he hated me. When Roberto, our servant, found him in his room, he had plunged a knife through the picture. That should tell you how violent his hatred was. Life with him was a misery, and I was always so kind to him, so considerate, but let's not talk about what's dead and buried. You know, painting your picture was the luckiest thing that ever happened to either of us. You must know how I feel about you, but I have something to confess. I never gave your husband the original. It was so good I couldn't bear to part with it, and as a matter of fact, some art critics are coming to see it. Ha ha ha, I'm glad you didn't. That's a good joke, old poor Flint. And Romero, I have a confession too. I used to see a lot of a man named Tony, but now you're the only one. Yes, gentlemen, I consider this my masterpiece, and she is as lovely in the flesh as it is on the canvas. What do you think of it? A very fine piece of work, Romero. The eyes need something else, however. I would do something with those eyes. Notice the color he used in the head. Remarkable effect. This is the best thing I've ever seen you do. This shows talent. Meanwhile, Sylvia was having a nightmare, only she was wide awake. Who's there? What's the matter with me? There's no one here. Just nerves, I guess. And yet, I have the strangest feeling that I'm being watched. That people are pointing at me, accusing me. Soon I'll be out of this place forever. Romero will take me away. The next day, while Romero was working on the picture, trying to perfect the beauty he had created, his phone jangled. He heard a tormented voice say, Romero, this is Sylvia. A terrible thing has happened this morning. I suddenly began to lose my sight. Everything has been going dim, Romero. I'm terrified. I don't know what to do. I can hardly see. Your eyes? No, don't worry. It's probably only a temporary infection. And, say, do you want to hear something strange? What a coincidence. I've been working on the eyes of your picture all morning. Look, take it easy. I'll be right over. I think leaving all alone in that big place is bad for Sylvia. I'm going to marry her right away and we can get out of the city together tonight. Hey, mister, watch out. Huh? What? Oh, my picture. Never mind the picture, mister. You nearly got killed. Crunch. Tenderly, Romero picked up his masterpiece as he would a wounded bird. It was mutilated almost beyond recognition. Heartbroken, he hurried to meet Sylvia. There she is. Must have come over to meet me. Sylvia, here I am over here. Oh, I forgot about her eyes. She can't see me. Wait. Don't cross. Don't. That truck. I'm coming, Romero. No, wait. She walked right in front of it. Did you see it? She must have been blind not to see him coming. I'm sorry, mister, but I know this wasn't my fault. Romero hears the voices around him as if they come from a great distance. He only thinks about the unrecognizable crushed girl in his arms, the smashed picture beside him, and he tries to understand. The thing about this story is everyone is awful and everyone gets punished. Joshua is a jealous, controlling husband who uses dark magic. Sylvia is cheating on him and tries to let him die. Romero is fine. Romero just almost gets hit by a truck. He was blinded by voodoo, and that's pretty rough. The 1951 Mall universe is a complicated place. Double-page spread here. Harvey going big with the production. This is the kind of thing that cost money in 1951, and they're spending. The battle had been furious. All over the battleground lay strewn the results of war-broken and twisted bodies. Smashed cannon and red-smeared blood. It was a civil war, and in the struggle the North had been victorious, with the battered Southern legions trying to stagger back to the safety of their lines by Richmond. 2 Northern soldiers were sprawled on the ground behind a shattered farmhouse, trying to get some rest before their unit was called into battle. Hi, Jack. That last one was a hard one. I shall just miss me, muttered one of the soldiers as he felt the top of his head. The second soldier's voice trailed off as his eyes saw a crow hovering above. Look, Tim, look at that crow up there. Both men watched the blackbird circle around and around. Then Jack jumped to his feet and began shouting, Tim, that's the old witch! The other soldiers gasped and then agreed. Both men had come from the same town, and the people of this town took pleasure in taunting an old lady who they thought was a witch. The townspeople believed that the old lady could change herself into a crow. Tim was now on his feet, and the other 2 soldiers were throwing rocks and sticks at the bird. Then the men brought their muskets into play, but still the crow flew round and around. It wants us to die, snarled Jack. You mean she wants us to die, answered Tim, taking a bead on the crow. Trying as they might, they could not bring the crow down. Finally they stopped shooting and sat down to watch the black speck in the sky. Suddenly Tim's eyes lighted up. Jack, I know what can kill that thing. Silver! I remember my mother telling me that silver could kill a witch. Quickly, the 2 soldiers cut the silver buttons off their uniforms and placed them into their guns. Tim took aim. He fired. The crow's legs cracked in 2 as the button smashed into it. Jack took aim. He fired. The crow plummeted to the earth, dead. With yells of glee, the two soldiers kicked the dead bird into some nearby bushes. Several years passed and the Civil War ended. The two soldiers returned to their home and were informed that the old witch was dead. "How did it happen?" asked Tim and Jack. The answer from the blood froze the blood in their veins. Strangely enough, the old lady had broken a leg just about the time the two soldiers had their experience with the crow, and after a long illness, she died. Later, when they examined her body for witch traces, they found a silver button in her leg that could not be explained. That was the fatal bullet. Moving on to the middle portion here, we got strange superstitions. Magical influence. When the Ojibwa Indian wants to bring sickness to the body of an enemy, he makes a small wooden image of the person and pierces its head and heart with needles, believing that his enemy will experience the same fate. If the purpose is to kill, the image is burned. Omen of death. The moving of dew, the lowing of cattle, and the crowing of roosters at night are supposed to foretell the death of a person, as this animal said to be able to see the death enter of the dew. Witches. Many people think of a witch as a person of evil, but for many centuries they were called upon to relieve the misfortunes of illness, childbirth, and in many ways assume the role of a doctor. Taboos all over the world. Knots are considered objectionable. The Parliament of Bordeaux in 1715 had a person burned alive for causing the ruin of a family by means of tying knots. The werewolf, skin changer, and turncoat were terms used by the Romans to describe the werewolf during the medieval ages. People believed that while the werewolf was in his human form, his hair grew inwards, and when he changed into a wolf, he just turned himself inside out. And then on the far side there, the cursed diamond. Them stupid savages won't get wise that we stole their tribe's sacred diamonds for a week. We'll be far away by then. The leader of the gang stood up after he spoke and went to the window. "I wonder, though," he continued, "what that medicine man who was guarding the glass meant before we bumped him." One of the two-seated men hesitatingly said, "When that guy said, 'On the bones of two will come death to the third,' I almost fell apart." The three thieves were tired for the night, and the jungle seemed to go down to sleep, too. Suddenly, everything seemed to hold its breath. There wasn't a sound. Then a sound like paper being crunched was heard. One of the men could not sleep and rose, going to the window. He recoiled in horror as, in the bright moonlight, he saw thousands and thousands of red, man-eating army ants surrounding the hut below and slowly closing in. With the man's first screams, the other men were on their feet. Soon they too saw the ants. The leader snapped his men out of their trance of horror and set about to stop the red hordes. Since the ants were still some distance away, and the hut was once a mining camp storehouse, they had enough time and equipment to build a moat around the house. Into the moat, the frightened, crazed crooks poured oil, which they set afire. Over and over again, the ants tried to breach the river of fire. Each time, the attempts were foiled as the burning oil ate into their rings. Then the men looked at each other as they realized that they had no more oil. With a shriek of madness, the leader pulled out his gun and began to fire into the ants. Then a mad plan entered his brain. If he killed his men and threw their bodies to the ants, they might leave him alone. The jungle night air was shattered by two shots. Smoking gun in hand, the mad leader stood over his men, grinning. Picking the bodies up, he hurled them at the army of ants, which was still trying to get across the moat. As the bodies hit the swarming mass, the dancing flames shimmered on the greasy red coats. There was a sizzling sound. Thousands of small jaws were closing on human flesh. The leader laughed, thinking the ants would leave. They didn't. Instead, the ants cleaned all the flesh off the bones of the dead men and then began to carry the bones to the edge of the moat. Soon the oil burned lower, and the ants pushed some of the bones into the moat. Using this as a foundation, they built a bridge of human bones. The man stumbled back into the hut. As he did, his hand touched the pile of diamonds on the table. He remembered the medicine man's prophecy. He felt the ants crawling up his leg. The second text story, The Icy Death, September 16, 1852. whaling schooner Eagle, Captain Marlowe. This one is pure nautical horror and it moves fast. September 16th, 1852, found the whaling schooner Eagle picking its way slowly through between towering walls of ice that threatened any moment to come crashing down and crush the stout ship like an eggshell. The catch had been very good, and Captain Marlowe thought that some time might be spent in exploring the area of ice that seemed to rise out of the water suddenly and stretch without a break until the eye lost it beyond the rim of the horizon. A 2-day probing revealed a small gap in the ice, and the Eagle gently slid into it as a fly between the legs of an elephant. As the ship glided into a wider strait, its white sails became gray against the glistening white walls of the berths. Then, as if some gigantic hands had ripped them apart, the barriers of ice split with a thunderous roar and gave up a captive that made the men of the Eagle clutch the rails for support. Revealed before them was a boat sheeted with ice and snow. Its rigging had fallen, its sails were in shreds, held together by jagged hooks of ice, and its hulls were battered and broken. But that wasn't all. Also, released from the grip of the Ice King were human beings, frozen in the likeness they had when the ice first claimed them. Finally, the hardy whaling men reclaimed their courage and went aboard the wrecked schooner. Captain Marlowe led the boarding party. Easy, lads. This deck isn't what it once was. Watch you don't step through the floor and say hello to Davy. The men mumbled their aye, aye, sirs, as their eyes focused on the sight that would live with them for the rest of their lives. As they looked about the deck, the men saw frozen corpses. Standing by some rigging, 3 sailors were still in the motion of pulling in line. Towards the back of the ship, 2 other frozen actors on this stage of death were leaning over the rail and seemed to be watching the blue sprayed dock sides of the boat. When the scouting party went below, they saw more men, some asleep in their bunks, others sitting around a table. In the captain's quarters, a body, dressed in uniform, sat upright, a pen in its right hand. Heave to, men. We got work to do. We got to give these men a decent burial. The captain's words broke the trance that had gripped the men, and they quickly scrambled to the death. On board his own ship, Captain Marlowe decided the best way to free the corpses from their coffins of ice would be to use boiling water. Rapidly, his orders were obeyed, and soon a large kettle of boiling water was ready. Then the corpses were carried aboard. One by one, they were dipped into the steaming water. When the job was done, the bodies lay, pale and blue, on the deck. As the first mate turned to Captain Marlowe for further instructions, his hair bristled with fear. One of the corpses was moving. The mate drew back, and as he did, the other men saw what was terrifying him, and they too began to move back. Eyes, mirroring horror, watched the corpses come back to life and stand up. Then, as if the bottom of the ship had opened up and let in all the demons of the underworld, the frigid air was shattered by blood-curdling yells. The corpses were attacking the crew of the Eagle. The fear and the surprise was so great that in a few minutes the corpses were able to kill every man on board except Captain Marlowe, who had jumped overboard and hidden under a huge slab of ice. As Captain Marlowe watched, he saw the bodies take the murdered crew and place them in the identical positions that they were in only a short time before. Then he heard a wail that froze his blood colder than the ice about him. The corpses discovered that he was missing. But it seemed they did not have time to search for the captain, and instead reboarded the Eagle and began to sail her away. Captain Marlowe gasped. What was all this about? He had seen a dead crew come back to life, kill his crew, and then sail away on his boat. Was it possible that such a thing had been going on over and over again? Was it possible that his crew would come to life someday? As Captain Marlowe's mind filled with fear, his ears caught the rumbling of crashing ice. He looked up and saw the ice walls crumbling down on the ship and himself. The walls of the passageway were closing up again. They had revealed their secret too long. As the tons of ice crashed down, the ice floating on the water seemed to rise up to meet them. The slab on which Captain Marlowe had taken refuge was hurled upward, and the captain was thrown onto the deck of his ship, dead with a broken back. With a dying rumble, the ice settled, and the birds flying overhead could never tell what the passageway once opened up there. What I love about this one is there's no explanation, no reason. The dead crew just wakes up, takes the ship, leaves. Captain Marlowe dies alone under the ice and the story ends. Charles Fort would have filed this under his collection of inexplicable events and moved on. So do we. Now we get to Launched in Blood, and this one has the best opening of anything in the issue. Old sailor Eben Dark is sitting alone in a bar. Other sailors want him to tell the story of the Black Swan. He doesn't want to tell it. He's been trying to forget it for 30 years. He tells it anyway. I was only a lad then, but I live 100 years. I'd never forget the Black Swan. The ship with a curse on her from the moment she went down the ways. Not many men live to tell what happened when they sail a ship that was launched in blood. Devil take ye for a plagued ship. I'll have no more thoughts of ye death-infested hulk. What's the old guy mumbling about, Dane? I've seen him before in here, always sitting alone. Who is he? That be Egan Dark, a man who's sailed those salty waves of the 7 seas aboard the whalers. It's ghosts he's talking to. You mean he's never heard this tale? Eben, this here's my shipmate. He's never heard of the Black Swan, and he wants to know about her. Come on, Eben, tell us your tale, and I'll keep your whistle wet while you do. Black Swan never sailed so evil a ship. The waves were red with the blood of her men. They wanted me to tell it again, the story I've been trying to forget these 30 years. The men always want to hear about the Black Swan. Come now, Eben, this lad will never be a true sailor till he's heard the tale from you. And after all, who's left to tell it? 3 over here. Aye, none left but old Eben Dark, and Canvas Shroud and the dark waves will soon have him too. I'll tell it to ye, 'cause I'll not tell it many more times before the sea will seal my lips. I remember the day I first saw her. I was standing in the crowd with my uncle watching the ceremony. And now the governor's wife is going to send this proud ship down the wave, a ship that I know is going to be prosperity to our town. Are you ready, madam? Ready? Ready, Captain Jones? We've been waiting for weeks to take her to sea. I am ready. And now, Christensen, the Black Swan. Wait, not yet. Tim is still down there, greasing the wood. Hold the ship. Too late. He'll be killed. She's starting to slide. What? Do you mean hold the ship? It's too horrible. I can't look. He's a goner. Poor devil, he never had a chance. Look, his blood is greasing that ship to the water. No, no, oh! There was an awful moment of dead silence when the scream stopped, and I could feel the blood run cold in my veins when later I heard the men talking. My uncle, Captain Dark, tightened his fingers on my shoulder. This is a terrible thing and a bad sign. That ship is like a casket. Man, it made to hold death. I'll sail no ship that is launched in blood, and you'll not find a captain in these parts that'll sail her for you. The captain, that's silly. Everyone saw it was an accident. This is nothing but foolish superstition on your part. Isn't there a man among you who would captain this ship? What's the matter with you? Look, I'll get the company to double the pay for the first voyage. Hey, who said that? I'll not sail that blood-stained bark for triple pay. She's a marked ship. Nothing good can come of it. A man would have to be a fool or the devil himself to sail it. I'll sail that ship for you. A little blood never frightened Captain Dark. Come along, Eben. I followed my uncle through the crowd, and I could feel the score of hostile eyes burning in our backs. You say you'll do it. Can you get a crew? Aye, offer double pay for the crew, and I'll have one for you by morning. There's men who'll sail a bathtub to the gates of hell for double pay. Look, ye, I've already got a cabin boy. Eh, Eben? Yes, sir. I was only a lad of 15, and my uncle was my guardian after my parents died. This was my first voyage, too. During that night, my uncle gathered a crew, and early the next morning, when I awoke, they were aboard. Now, ye swabs, listen to me. They say this is a cursed ship because she's killed a man. I say she's sound as $1, and we'll bring home a full cargo. There's a little livered man among ye. Now's the time to get ashore. If not, then let's weigh anchor. Aye, aye, Captain. Heave to, me hearties. So we sailed out across the North Atlantic, and the sea was gentle and playful as a kitten, and the sun shone like a gold piece. For a while, all went well. Then one morning, well ho! Ahoy below! Call the captain. Whale off starboard bow. There one blows. Captain, the glass is falling. Looks like a storm is brewing. Don't you think we ought to play it safe and let this one out go? Not on your life, Granger. We can take him before the storm breaks. And he's a big un. I'm not going to lose him. Man the boat and you take it out. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on the weather and pick you up if the storm breaks. Now, shut off. Aye, sir. Man the oars, men, and pull. I don't like the look of the sky. Ugh. There, got him. Pull hard to port, boys. The devil is headed straight for us. We saw what happened from the deck of the ship, and the groan went up among the men as they watched their shipmates thrown into the bowling sea. And then, like a dirge, the wind began to howl in the rigging. Head for the ship, men. It's our only chance. The captain will pick us up. Yow! Swim for your lives! The storm broke, and the sea raged like a mountain lion. And all I had to do to hold on to the lines to keep from my going overboard. But through the rain, I could see my uncle standing like a rock. Captain, you must save them. Listen, they're calling. My brother's out there. Get down below, you fool. We can't save them. They're all drowned by now. It's nothing but the wind you hear. I'm not going to risk this ship to pick up dead bodies. Captain! Help! We're drowning! You fiend! You're letting them die. You can't live and do this. Compound you, I'll teach you to follow orders. Blam! I stood petrified with horror at what I saw. Then finally I ran forward, crying, Uncle! Uncle, no, don't! So it's you! If you ever breathe a word of this, the same thing will happen to you some dark night. Do you hear, boy? I had to kill him. Self-defense. Yes, Uncle. I won't say a word. You had to kill him. The next day was calm. We had funeral services for the men that were lost during the storm, but something happened that chilled all of us to the bone, more than a north wind. And we pray that the men who were lost will find peace at last, as well as Tim Lane's brother, John, who was washed overboard last night during the storm. And, Sam, did you hear something? I thought I did, but it can't be. Help, Captain, save us. Avast, what's the matter with you men? Getting chicken-hearted are ye? A little wind in the sails, and you think you hear the voices of the dead. Stand still. The next man that moves will join his shipmates. There's no one down there. I could have sworn I heard Granger. Maybe the captain's right. The wind's playing tricks with our ears and imaginations. Then in the next few weeks there were dark scowls and words among the crew. Surely we seemed cursed, for not one whale did we see the whole time. Then one night, Captain, begging your pardon, sir, but I thought it best to have a word with you. The crew is thinking of mutiny. They're afraid of this ship. They want to go home. They hear the voices at night. Most of them are against you, Captain. Blast a lot of them for a bunch of spineless jellyfish. Voices. Pah! I'll make them hear the whistle of a lash on their backs. And maybe you're right, Simpson. There are too many of them for so few of us. So, Captain, I see you're safely home after all. Such nonsense, that superstition. How many whales did you take? Devil take the luck, not a one. But don't you worry. As soon as we can get another crew, we'll set sail and make up for it. May I never have the bad luck to see ye again, Black Swan. Aye, may she rot in Davy Jones' locker. But the days passed, and hardly a man wanted to sail the Black Swan. She already had a reputation for death, and now it was claimed she was haunted. But one night, there's a mean lot, Captain Dark, but I guess you're the man who can handle 'em. You sure have this lot of cutthroats cheap. Here's your money, jailer. A little sea voyage is just what these men need for their health. Good luck, Captain. Say, where in the world did you manage to get that crew? Don't you worry, everyone is hand-picked. They'll bring home whaling to you. They know how to kill. Yes, every one of them is a murderer. I wonder if we'll ever see land again. But we haven't been at sea more than a few days when trouble began. 10 more lashes for this lying dog, mate. I have no more talk about this being a haunted ship. You hear? Voices in the night. Maybe this will tune up your ears. Aye, Captain. Your Then one winter evening, when the fog hung over the sea like a white shroud, and the icicles hung down like the teeth of monsters, a peculiar thing happened. Take it from me, matey, this is a doomed ship. I know it. Maybe you're right, friend. Ain't been nothing but dirty weather and laughing since we came aboard. Hello, Jack. I thought I heard you talking to someone. Why, that was Evan, fellow I hadn't noticed on board before. Very friendly chap. He is too. Let me introduce you. His name is Granger. Why, he's gone. Jack, you must be seeing things that don't exist in the fog. There's no man by that name aboard the ship. He was the mate who was lost on the last voyage. He's dead. Huh? What's on? He's standing right here. He put his wet hand on mine. Oh, no. Jack started running down the ice-covered deck like a madman. I tried to stop him, but... Jack, come back! Don't run on the deck! I gotta get out of here. I gotta... Oh, no, 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 no! Yes, I heard Jack go over the side. He must have slunk like a stone in the freezing water. I tried to make my eyes see through the blackness, but it was no use. All I could do was holler, "Man overboard! Man overboard!" Several days later, we finally sighted a whale. I was so tired of being aboard the Black Swan that I convinced Uncle to let me go after it with the men. Whale, ho! Come on, you lunkheads, get that boat over the side. Let's go, Eben. I'm taking no chances on this one. I'm gonna spear that whale myself. Look, those things going up the ropes. No, this can't be. Come on, men. Here's the Black Swan. We're saved now. We got our ship back. We stood speechless with terror, watching the horrors on board, our minds refusing to believe what our eyes saw. Ah! Keep away from me, you fiend! Aha! Over the side! They're taking over! Gang away! Avenge us, you spirits of the deep. Send the mighty whale after the man who deserted us. Watch out! The whale is attacking us! The mighty monster loomed up in front of us like a black mountain and then smashed into us. I was knocked high in the air, spinning, not knowing which was the sky or the sea. Help! Help! Save me! I thought my limbs would burst before I was able to fight clear of the tons of water that had crashed down on us. I was just barely able to reach a floating timber. Evan, help! Help your poor old uncle! I can't, Uncle. I'm too weak. Looking around, there was no one left alive from our crew, only myself. In the distance, I saw the Black Swan sailing. Way spreading her sail in the wind, and across the water I thought I heard this familiar voice. We've been avenged, Tim. Let's away. Aye, aye, Captain Granger. Yes, I watched it sail away till it was a black speck on the horizon. And that's the last anyone's ever seen or heard of the Black Swan. Next day, I was picked up, the only survivor, but soon, old Evan would be sailing the Black Swan again. Sometimes on quiet nights, I hear them call. Thanks, old timer, for telling my friend this story. Here, maybe this will help you get rid of those voices. Let's go, Dane. I've had enough for one night. Sometimes on quiet nights, I hear them calling. Eben Dark is one of the better characters in this whole issue. He's not a villain, he's not a hero. He's just a man who survived something he can't explain and can't forget. It's a very human kind of horror. And the Black Swan sails away at the end, still out there, still first. That's how you end a ghost ship story. One page, one legend, Mashoka. This is a Native American legend about a giant warrior who wades across the bay to fight a monstrous eagle that has been stealing children. He kills the eagle, he saves the children. He dies of his wounds on the shore and smokes his last pipe. Now when the fog rises over the bay, the Indians say it is Mashoka smoking his last pipe. Harvey Comics included this as a one-page feature, and I want to be honest, it's presented with the blunt simplicity of 1951, which has its own issues. But the legend itself is real. Mashoka is a genuine figure in Wampanoag tradition. That is worth noting. Etched in the legends of the world have long amazed those who have heard of them, such as the legend of Mashoka, the dying smoker. Many moons ago, when our country was the father of great forests and the keeper of wild beauty, there lived the great Indian hunter Mashoka, known for his kindness and strength. Then evil befell the Indians of the Northwest in the form of a murdering eagle, which scooped down and carried away the children. Mashoka, the Indian giant, became so enraged that his roar of anger shook the highest branch of the tallest tree. Grabbing his spear, Mashoka began to wade across a large bay towards the island where the plundering eagle lived. The eagle saw the mighty Indian warrior coming to its island, and, with a screech of challenge, it charged Michope. The fight between Michope and the eagle made the sun hide and the wind cease to blow. So fierce it was fought. Up and down the bay they battled. Finally, Michope's spear plunged to its mark, and the eagle fell, the spear quivering through its heart. But Michope had a great many wounds and was dying. So he staggered to the shore, lay against a tree, and smoked his last pipe. When the other Indians came to the island, they found their children safe, but Michope dead. Now, when a fog rises over the bay, the Indians say it is Michope smoking his last pipe. And now the last story. The one that started this ball rolling when it comes to comic book reading in the first place. The dead won't die. And this one is a crime story that turns into something else entirely. Rod Fancher, criminal, he has an airtight plan. He's going to rob and kill a man named Welsh and get away clean. He does not get away clean. Rod Fancher thought he had every angle figured, that he could make crime pay. There were no holes in his airtight plan, except the one that put the corpse into. That was the one he forgot to cover, and he found out that sometimes the dead won't die. You'll never get away with this, you hear me? I'll see that you're tracked down if it's the last thing I ever do. Rave on, sucker. Maybe this will teach you not to carry so much around with you late at night. I'll see that, you pay, you fool. No one outdraws a pointed gun. Hurry, Rod, I got the motor running. Move over, May. I'd better drive now. Rod, what happened? I got so worried when you weren't back on time. And then when I heard those shots, I was terrified. I had to plug him, honey, but I got the money. Only thing I can't figure is who set that alarm off. Welsh is as dead as anybody can be. Gotta step on it. Rod sent the car screaming through the night, driving as if chased by demons. A little while later, in a small cafe. Now the best thing to do is split up. May, you take this dough and go up to the hideout by train. I'll meet you there as soon as I can. They'll never find us in those Vermont hills. Okay, Rod, anything you say. I'll be glad when we're far away from the city myself. Say, Rod, what's the trouble? You're as jumpy as a rabbit. Nothing. Nothing at all, baby. I just felt as if someone was... No, it isn't anything. Nerves, I guess. I'd rather be going with you, but I guess you're right about this whole... this someone might have seen us together at the getaway. Be careful, Rod. There's a heavy fog rolling in the night. Don't worry about me, baby. Somehow I feel that I feel this is safer. You know how I get feelings about things. See you soon. As Rod roars away in the murky night, the fog slides over the car softly, swiftly, silently, like a shroud. Only the burning eyes of the car light his way. My nerves are like pulling rubber bands. I gotta relax. No one could have possibly seen me kill him. I'm as safe as he is dead. Oh, there's a hitchhiker. I'll pick him up. That'll keep my mind off things. How about a lift, buddy? You're going my way. Sure, just hop in. No! Can't be! I killed you! No! Rod jams down on the accelerator and the car lurches forward, crazily. Rod's face is like whitewash, but as he roars through the night as dark as a grave, he talks to himself. That was a fool thing to do. Come on, Rod, old boy, you gotta get a hold of yourself. This is no time to lose your nerve. This fog is playing tricks with your imagination. Laugh it off. Ha 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 ha! But as Rod Faucher laughs, trying to keep his courage up, it sounds hollow. It seems to echo strangely from the black walls of night. Ha ha ha! You're still going my way, and it's a long trip. I'm losing my mind. How could he be here? No one passed me going over the bridge. This can't be happening. I know what I need. Food. I haven't eaten all day. If I get a good hot meal under my belt, I'll chase these stupid hallucinations away. I'm dizzy with hunger. Sure, that's what it is. Any gas, sir? Your order, please. Yeah, fill her up. Now, bring me the biggest steak you got in the place, with plenty of gravy, french fries. Hope you can change this. It's the smallest I have. Say, can you tell me how far I am from Mountainville? Sure, buddy. You don't have far to go now, buddy. Well, look at the way that crazy fool is driving. He'll kill himself. Can you imagine that guy? He orders the most expensive dinner on the menu and then drives off without eating it. There isn't much time for Rod to wonder about what he has seen, for a few moments later he hears a long, ear-piercing wail, and only the view in his mirror saves the sanity. Oh, it's only a police car. For a minute I thought it was something else. Must be after me. I think I'd better try to lose them. I'm too mixed up right now. They're gaining on me. I gotta think of a way to get out of the... Bam, 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 bam! I'm hit! Oh, that bullet's like a hot knife. It isn't far to the hideout now. I've gotta make it. There's a way. It's my only chance. If I could just get down this road before they see me. Blam! The screaming, complaining brakes refuse to hold, and in a split second, Rod's car careens crazily off the road. The sickening sound of crushing metal is the last thing he hears before losing consciousness. Hours later, oh, where am I? I feel like every bone in my body is broken. Oh, my shoulder, now I remember. I gotta get to the hideout. It's only a few miles from here. Every step was agony for the broken and wounded body of Rod Thatcher, and as he remembered the face he had seen along the road at the drive-in, and was afraid to turn around, he felt it following him, in fear of pushing him along the last few yards. At last I made it. I'll be safe now. Maybe May'll be here. She'll help me. May! I'm coming. May, where's May? May? Why, I guess you haven't heard about her. She was waiting to meet her boyfriend here, a fellow by the name of Fancher. But there was a radio report that he was killed in a car accident yesterday. Poor girl was so upset she committed suicide. Hey, what's the matter with you? Who are you, anyway? Haha, alright, Wells. Alright, you made me cry. May is dead. Haha. There he is. Easy. He's armed. That's Rod Fancher. He left a trail of blood the whole way. But I tell you, you can't try me for murder. Don't you see? I'm dead. I was killed yesterday. What's the matter with that guy? Nuts. There was another guy called Fancher killed in an accident yesterday, and he thinks it's him. Absolutely daffy. He's wanted downstate for murder of a guy named Wells, too. And so, Rod Fancher was sent to jail for the criminally insane, a raving husk of a man. The doctors say his own guilt made his mind play tricks, that he never saw Welsh's ghost, but no one could convince him he isn't dead, and who knows what he saw that night. In the final panel is Rod in a cell, and the caption reads, "The doctors say his own guilt made his mind play tricks, that he never saw Welsh's ghost, but no one can convince him he isn't dead, and who knows what he really saw that night." That last line, that's the whole show right there. Who knows what he really saw? Witch's Tales understood what it was doing. And here, before we get to the back cover, a preview of issue 2. March 1951, The Evil Eye, Massacre the Ghost, Man with Two Faces, Phantom in the Flames. We dare you to read them. Harvey Comics was confident. They had every reason to be. This first issue is genuinely good. It's not EC Comics. Nothing was EC Comics. But it's doing something real. They didn't know that in 3 years the whole industry would be dragged in front of the Senate Subcommittee on Juvenile Delinquency, and horror comics would essentially be regulated out of existence by the Comics Code Authority. But in January 1951, none of that happened. They were just making comics. Good. And one more bonus feature before we close out. Ghosts of Phantom Pirates, Black Bellamy, the blackest plunderer on the deep. 1717, a Snow. That's a 3-masted sailing vessel, being chased by Bellamy's pirate fleet into a harbor. The Snow is a decoy, the harbor is shallow. The storm comes in, Bellamy's whole fleet is wrecked on the rocks. Bellamy himself goes down with the ship, cursing that he will guard his treasure forever. And to this day, the story goes, a man in ancient clothes walks the streets of New England Harbor City, pays his bills in gold, and avoids anything holy. That's Black Bellamy, still there, still spinning the gold. The pirate story. That's Witch's Tale, issue 1. Harvey Comics, January 1951. 5 stories, 2 text pieces, 1 legend. 1 pirate feature. 1 witch who promised to freeze your spine, and mostly delivered. The Monster of Mad Mountain, Whore Island, Voodoo Vengeance, The Icy Death, Launched in Blood, a show, The Dead Won't Die, Black Bellamy. 10 cents worth of weird yarns of unseen terror. 3 years from now, the Senate is going to tell Harvey Comics and everyone like them that comics like this are corrupting the youth of America. The youth of America was buying them 10 cents at a time and loving every page. I'm with the youth on this one. This has been Witch's Tales, Issue 1, presented by SL Toons. Issue 2 is already on the stands. We dare you.
SL Tonight is here, bringing you the creepiest tales and most chilling mysteries. Remember, unauthorized duplication is a scream. Stay tuned for the fright of your life!